Alright, let's go. Number 10. The boundary of our universe. The observable universe stretches approximately 93 billion light-years across, a number so vast it defies comprehension. Yet this staggering expanse may be only the smallest sliver of what actually exists. Beyond the edge of what light has had time to reach us from, there lies the unobservable universe, a domain that could be infinite, eternal, and forever sealed off from human knowledge. The boundary itself is called the cosmological horizon, and it isn't a physical wall in the traditional sense. It's a limit imposed by the speed of light and the age of the cosmos. Light from anything beyond this horizon hasn't had time to reach us in the 13.8 billion years since the Big Bang. Imagine standing in the middle of a fog so thick you can only see a few feet in any direction. The fog isn't the edge of the world. It's just the edge of what you can perceive. Everything beyond exists, but is fundamentally unknowable. Here's where the nightmare begins. Some theoretical models propose that the universe doesn't simply fade into more of the same beyond this horizon. Brain theory, a concept derived from string theory, suggests that our entire universe is a three-dimensional membrane floating within a higher dimensional space. Other membranes, other universes, may exist parallel to ours, separated by distances we cannot measure in any conventional sense. They could be inches away in a dimension we cannot perceive. The truly horrifying aspect is what this implies about contact. If two brains were to touch, even momentarily, the collision could release energy equivalent to another Big Bang. Some cosmologists have proposed that our own universe began this way, as the aftermath of two membranes brushing against one another in a higher dimension. This means another universe might be drifting toward ours right now, invisible, undetectable, and capable of erasing everything that has ever existed in a single instant. You exist on a thin sheet of reality, suspended in a darkness you cannot see, surrounded by other realities you cannot reach. Whatever lies beyond the cosmological horizon, whether it's an infinite continuation of space or the edge of something stranger, you will never see it. The universe has drawn a curtain around you, and on the other side of that curtain, anything could be waiting. Number 9. Wandering planets and brown dwarfs. The galaxy is filled with worlds that have no sun. Billions of rogue planets are believed to drift between the stars, ejected from their original solar systems by gravitational chaos, or perhaps born alone in the cold spaces between. Some are smaller than Earth. Others are larger than Jupiter, massive failed stars known as brown dwarfs that never gathered enough mass to ignite nuclear fusion in their cores. In 2012, astronomers confirmed the first rogue planet, designated CFB DSIR 2149-0403, drifting through interstellar space approximately 100 light-years from Earth. Since then, evidence has mounted that these wanderers may outnumber the stars themselves. Every star you see in the night sky could be matched by dozens of unseen worlds, each one a frozen, lightless globe moving silently through the void. What makes these wanderers particularly unsettling is what might exist beneath their frozen surfaces. Some rogue planets retain enough internal heat from their formation, or from the slow decay of radioactive elements in their cores, to maintain liquid water oceans deep beneath crusts of ice. These hidden seas could persist for billions of years, warmed not by any sun, but by the planet's own dying heart. And in those dark oceans, life might exist. Imagine an entire biosphere thriving in absolute darkness, separated from any star, evolving in conditions no human eye will ever witness. Creatures that have never known light, never registered the existence of a sky, swimming through black waters beneath kilometers of ice. Their entire reality would be confined to that hidden ocean, unaware that stars exist, that galaxies exist, that anything exists beyond the cold ceiling of their frozen world. These rogue planets pass within light years of our solar system regularly. They are invisible against the black backdrop of space, emitting only the faintest infrared glow from their internal heat. One could be approaching right now, carrying its hidden ocean and whatever lives within it, drifting through the dark on a trajectory no telescope has detected. Number 8. Cosmic strings. In the chaotic first moments after the Big Bang, as the universe cooled and its fundamental forces separated, defects may have formed in the fabric of space-time itself. These defects are called cosmic strings, and they represent some of the strangest objects ever proposed by theoretical physics. A cosmic string would be thinner than a proton, yet a single one could stretch across an entire galaxy. A segment just 1 kilometer long could weigh more than the Earth. These strings would warp the space around them in profound ways. Light passing near a cosmic string would be bent and duplicated, creating double images of distant stars and galaxies. Time itself would flow differently in their vicinity. The mathematics suggests that if two cosmic strings were to cross paths at the right configuration, the warped spacetime around them could form closed time-like curves, theoretical pathways that loop back on themselves through time. Here's where the nightmare begins. A natural time machine could exist somewhere in the cosmos right now, forged in the first second of creation and drifting through deep space ever since. Any object passing through such a configuration could be hurled backward through time into a past that no longer exists in any meaningful sense. The truly horrifying aspect is the invisibility. Cosmic strings don't emit light. They don't reflect it. Their presence can only be inferred from the gravitational distortions they create. One could be threading through our galaxy right now, slicing through stars and planets like a wire through cheese, and we would only notice the aftermath. Entire civilizations could be erased by the passage of something thinner than an atom, something we have no means of detecting until it has already passed. You exist on a planet drifting through a galaxy that may be laced with these invisible threads, each one a remnant of cosmic violence so ancient it predates every star, every atom of matter as we know it. And somewhere in the dark spaces between the stars, two of them may be on a collision course ready to tear open a door through time itself. Number 7. Dyson sphere civilizations. In 1960, physicist Freeman Dyson proposed that a sufficiently advanced civilization might solve its energy needs by constructing a vast shell or swarm of structures around its parent star, capturing nearly all of its radiated energy. Such a megastructure, now called a Dyson sphere, would represent the pinnacle of engineering ambition. It would also be nearly invisible. A completed Dyson sphere would block its star from view entirely. Where a sun once burned, there would be only darkness, broken only by a faint infrared glow as the structure radiated waste heat into space. Astronomers have searched for these heat signatures since the 1960s, scanning the sky for stars that have inexplicably vanished, or for unusual infrared sources that defy natural explanation. In 2015, observations of a star designated KIC 8462852, nicknamed Tabby's star, revealed strange and irregular dimming patterns that briefly raised the possibility of a partial megastructure. The leading explanations now favor natural causes, but the question remains open. What makes this theory particularly unsettling is what it implies about the dark patches of sky. Astronomers have long noted regions where stars seem fewer than they should be, gaps in the cosmic tapestry that don't match models of stellar distribution. Some of these dark patches are likely just dust clouds or statistical anomalies, but some of them might not be. Imagine looking up at the night sky and realizing that the empty spaces between the stars aren't empty at all. They're full of suns, but those suns have been wrapped, harnessed, encased by civilizations so far beyond us that we cannot conceive of their existence. Entire stellar neighborhoods could be hidden behind metallic black shells, civilizations of trillions living in worlds of their own construction, drawing every photon from their captured stars and leaving nothing for the universe to see. These civilizations would have no reason to announce themselves. They have everything they need. They would watch, if they watched at all, from behind their dark shells. And we, looking up at what we believe to be empty sky, would never know we were being observed. Number 6. Cosmic voids and bubble universes. The universe is not uniform. On the largest scales, galaxies cluster along vast filaments and sheets, with enormous empty regions stretching between them. These regions are called cosmic voids, and some of them are staggering in scale. Some span hundreds of millions of light years. Regions of space so empty that traveling through them, you could go an entire human lifetime without encountering a single star. One of these voids, called the KBC void, may contain our entire Milky Way galaxy. If correct, this means we are not floating in an average region of the universe at all. We are deep inside a great emptiness, surrounded by walls of galaxies that are themselves so far away their light takes hundreds of millions of years to reach us. Here's where the nightmare begins. Some cosmological theories propose that these voids are not merely empty regions of our universe. They may be doorways. The bubble multiverse theory suggests that our universe is one of countless bubbles, each one its own cosmos with its own physical laws expanding through a higher dimensional sea. The walls of these bubbles could touch, intersect, even merge. The vast voids we observe might be the imprints of other bubbles pressing against ours, regions where the geometry of our universe has been distorted by contact with realities entirely separate from our own. The truly horrifying aspect is what this implies about location. We may be living inside one of these enormous voids without realizing it. Our perception of the universe, our cosmology, our entire understanding of physical reality could be skewed by the local conditions of the bubble we inhabit. The laws of physics that seem universal to us might be merely the rules of our particular cell in an infinite honeycomb of realities. You exist in a galaxy that may be drifting through one of these vast, dark emptiness, surrounded by walls of stars hundreds of millions of light years away, with other universes pressing in from dimensions you cannot perceive. The silence of the void isn't really silence. It's the sound of other realities you will never reach. Number 5. Dark energy fields. In 1998, two independent teams of astronomers studying distant supernovae made a discovery that overturned everything cosmologists thought they knew about the universe. The expansion of space was not slowing down as gravity should demand. It was accelerating. Something invisible, something undetectable by any direct measurement, was pushing the cosmos apart with increasing force. They called it dark energy. Dark energy makes up approximately 68% of the universe. It is the dominant component of reality, more abundant than all matter and radiation combined. And yet, after more than 2 decades of investigation, we still have no idea what it is. We cannot see it, touch it, measure it directly, or recreate it in a laboratory. We know it exists only because we can watch galaxies fly apart faster and faster, dragged outward by a force we cannot identify. What makes dark energy particularly unsettling is its trajectory. Most models assume it remains constant, a steady pressure stretching space at an unchanging rate. But some theoretical frameworks propose that dark energy is growing stronger over time. If this is true, the acceleration will continue to intensify until it overwhelms every other force in nature. First, the expansion will tear apart galaxy clusters, scattering them into isolation. Then it will rip apart individual galaxies, flinging stars away from each other. Solar systems will follow, planets ripped from their suns. Eventually, the expansion will become so violent that it will overcome the electromagnetic forces holding molecules together. Matter itself will disintegrate. In the final fractions of a second, atomic nuclei will be torn apart, and the universe will end not in fire or ice, but in a great unraveling. This scenario is called the Big Rip. You exist in a universe whose dominant force is invisible, unknown, and possibly growing stronger. Every moment, the space around you is stretching faster than it did the moment before. The galaxies you see in the night sky are receding. The stars are drifting apart, and the force responsible for this slow cosmic dissolution is something we cannot name. Number 4. Primordial black holes. In the chaotic first second after the Big Bang, the universe was so dense and so violent that small regions of space may have collapsed directly into black holes. These are called primordial black holes, and they could exist in sizes that defy intuition. Some would be no larger than an atom, yet contain the mass of a mountain. Others might weigh as much as a planet while being smaller than a grain of sand. Some physicists have proposed that primordial black holes may account for some, or even all, of the dark matter in the universe. If correct, this means the missing mass that holds galaxies together isn't an exotic particle at all. It's a population of tiny black holes drifting through space in numbers beyond counting, each one a remnant of the universe's violent birth. Here's where the nightmare begins. A primordial black hole the size of an atom could pass through the Earth and leave almost no trace. Its gravity would be intense at point-blank range, but its cross-section would be so small that it could thread through the planet, slicing through rock and ocean and atmosphere without significantly altering anything. The only evidence might be a faint seismic ripple, a brief tremor that geologists would attribute to natural causes. The truly horrifying aspect is the frequency. If primordial black holes are common enough to constitute dark matter, they may pass through Earth regularly. They could be threading through your body right now, microscopic specks of crushed reality, leaving microscopic damage that no instrument can detect. Each one a piece of the universe's first moments, still moving through space after 13.8 billion years. You exist on a planet that may be regularly pierced by these ancient relics. They came from a time before stars, before atoms in their current form, before chemistry itself was possible. And they have been falling silently through the cosmos ever since, occasionally drifting through worlds that have no idea they were ever there. Number 3. The Boötes void. In 1981, astronomer Robert Kirshner and his colleagues made a discovery that has unsettled cosmologists ever since. While mapping galaxies in the constellation Boötes, they identified a region of space roughly 330 million light-years across that contained almost nothing. In a volume that should have held thousands of galaxies, they found only about 60. The rest of the space was simply empty, a vast bubble of cosmic silence in a universe otherwise teeming with structure. The Boötes void has been called the Great Nothing. Its scale defies casual comprehension. Light from one side of the void to the other takes longer to cross than the entire span of multicellular life on Earth. And within that vast emptiness, almost nothing exists. The standard explanation is that voids form naturally through the gravitational clustering of matter, with galaxies pulled toward dense regions and leaving emptier spaces behind. But the Boötes void is anomalous even by the standards of cosmic voids. It is larger than it should be, emptier than it should be, and some theorists have proposed an alternative explanation that is far more disturbing. What if the Boötes void was once full? What if it contained thousands of galaxies, billions of stars, perhaps countless worlds and civilizations? And what if something consumed them? A sufficiently advanced civilization harvesting the energy of entire stars or even entire galaxies could conceivably empty a region of space over time. The Boötes void could be the aftermath of such harvesting, a region stripped down to its barest remains by intelligences operating on scales of time and power we cannot imagine. The 60 remaining galaxies might be holdouts, regions not yet processed, or perhaps deliberate remnants left for reasons we cannot fathom. The truly horrifying aspect is the silence. If something did harvest the Boötes void, that something is still out there. It would have completed its work hundreds of millions of years ago, but the civilization responsible would presumably persist somewhere. They would know we are here. We have been broadcasting radio signals into space for over a century, and somewhere in the dark hollow of the great nothing, something very old and very patient may have already heard us. Number 2, rogue black holes. Most black holes we know about are anchored to galaxies or star systems, their positions tracked by the matter they consume or the stars that orbit them. But astronomers estimate that millions of rogue black holes drift through our galaxy alone, untethered to any star, moving silently through interstellar space. In 2022, astronomers confirmed the first direct detection of one of these wandering predators, a stellar mass black hole drifting through space approximately 5,000 light-years from Earth. A rogue black hole is one of the most terrifying objects imaginable. It emits no light. It has no surface to reflect anything. It can only be detected when it passes in front of a distant star, briefly warping the star's light through gravitational lensing, or when it consumes matter and produces a faint accretion disk glowing in X-rays. In the absence of such interactions, a rogue black hole is perfectly invisible. Here's where the nightmare begins. One could be drifting through our solar neighborhood right now. The nearest stars to Earth are about 4 light-years away, and the space between us and them is vast and dark. A stellar mass black hole could be passing through that space invisible against the black backdrop on a trajectory we cannot observe. We would not know it was there until its gravity began to disturb the outer planets, until comets and asteroids in the Oort cloud were flung from their orbits, until the subtle tug of an unseen mass began to alter the rhythm of our solar system. The truly horrifying aspect is the scale of what such an object could do. A rogue black hole, passing within a few light-years of our sun, could destabilize planetary orbits, send Earth spiraling into a new path, or strip our world from the sun entirely and cast it into the dark as one more rogue planet drifting between the stars. The encounter would take place over thousands of years, but the outcome would be inescapable. You exist on a planet whose long-term survival depends on the absence of such an encounter. The space around us is mostly empty, but it is not perfectly safe. Somewhere in the dark, a relic of a long-dead star may be drifting in our direction, silent, invisible, and patient. Number 1. Dark matter. Halos. Of all the mysteries hidden in the dark spaces of the universe, none is more fundamental, more pervasive, or more deeply unsettling than dark matter. It makes up approximately 27% of the universe, 5 times more abundant than all the normal matter that forms stars, planets, and living beings. It is everywhere. It surrounds every galaxy, fills every cluster, threads through every region of space. And we have never seen it. Dark matter does not emit, absorb, or reflect light in any form. It interacts with the rest of the universe only through gravity. We know it exists because galaxies rotate faster than they should, because light from distant objects is bent by invisible masses, because the structure of the cosmos cannot be explained without it. Galaxies are believed to be embedded within vast halos of dark matter, structures that extend far beyond the visible edge of any galaxy and contain most of its total mass. The luminous part of a galaxy, the stars and gas we can see, is just a small bright core inside a much larger invisible body. Here's where the nightmare begins. We do not know what dark matter is made of. Decades of experiments have failed to detect a single dark matter particle directly. The leading candidates, weakly interacting massive particles, axions, primordial black holes, remain theoretical. We have built detectors deep underground, scanned the cosmos with the most sensitive instruments ever constructed, and found nothing. The dominant form of matter in the universe is something we cannot identify. The truly horrifying aspect is the intimacy. Dark matter is not somewhere out there. It is here. It is passing through your body at this moment. Billions of dark matter particles, whatever they are streaming through every cubic meter of Earth every second, threading through your atoms without interacting, without leaving any trace. You are sitting inside the dark matter halo of the Milky Way, immersed in an invisible substance that outweighs everything you can see and touch by a factor of 5. You exist within a structure you cannot perceive. The galaxy itself is a small luminous fleck inside a much larger invisible body, and that body is composed of something for which we have no name, no theory, no understanding. The dark spaces between the stars are not empty. They are full of something. Something we cannot see, cannot touch, cannot detect by any means other than the gravitational fingerprints it leaves on the things we can see. The universe we observe is just the surface of something far deeper, and almost all of it is hidden in the hot, dark. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video on screen now and make sure to subscribe.